Good evening. I hope you're all happy to be here in Manchester. Well, I certainly am. It's great for me to feel back home, where I was born, where I grew up. Although I'm not sure about having hungry like a wolf coming in. I know we're around tea time at the moment anyway, so we might be feeling a bit hungry. Mind you, it's better than what they suggested, which is a big bad wolf. I'm delighted to be back here in Manchester for a number of reasons. Many of you heard me on the campaign trail when I wanted to campaign alongside with you and the millions of us who wanted to leave the European Union. Many of you have heard the story about me growing up here, going to Manchester Library, studying there, and always having imprinted on my mind that little plaque that sits outside one of our buildings, our important buildings, about the Peterloo massacre. Something that sat down inside of me and has been there for a long time about the freedom and democracy that we have fought for in this country, that we have cherished, that we believe is genuinely the right of the people in this country to control our own lives and not have the elites controlling them. Which is why I came out alongside with you, campaigned day in, day out, made sure that that message of a positive Britain outside of the European Union, with a real heart and spirit of democracy and independence, could be ours once again. And I want to thank you for all being with me and me allowing me to be alongside you to make sure that we won. We got Brexit. We got our country back. Thank you very much. But hasn't politics changed so dramatically since that day, our Independence Day of the 23rd of June? And I hope, like many of you, we'll be holding a big party next year, because I certainly know I will be, and you'll be welcome all back here to Manchester again to celebrate that. But politics has changed in a number of ways. Yes, we have now lost one of the most inspirational politicians of our time. Not lost him completely, just that he's no longer going to be the leader of UKIP. Without Nigel Farage, we wouldn't have got this referendum. Without Nigel Farage, we wouldn't have got 4 million votes in the last general election, or indeed won the European election in 2014, in which I was elected. We in UKIP owe him a great debt. I owe him the opportunity to fight for freedom and democracy in this country. And I want to thank Nigel Farage for being our leader and hope that he maintains, as he's promised, and I'll certainly be taking up him from time to time, that he'll still be part of this party, but outside and pushing on Europeans to have their Brexit, their Drexit, their Italian exit, whichever they want to have. I know that he can help them do an Italian job to get rid of the euro, because that's what I want to see him. But I also want to see him fighting alongside ours in UKIP's next chapter. Thank you, Nigel, and all the work that you have done. But those changes are also massive in this country. Look at what's happening. Who are natural Conservative voters. And they will be watching this Conservative government in the same way we must be watching the Conservative government to make sure Brexit means Brexit. There should be no Brexit right. And once there are strong and good men in David Davis and Liam Fox who will be pushing the agenda to get Article 50 issued as soon as possible, to let the world know we really mean leaving, and they should do that as soon as possible. But we also know that there are forces at work to try and ensure. But there are other changes, aren't there, as we're looking on. Here we are in Manchester. For those of you who know, it's almost a private fiefdom for the Labour Party, with a number of councillors that have, police and crown commissioners and now mayoral candidates. But we're tagging at their tail, I can tell you that. But one thing was also clear, as I said. In this campaign, we're all across the country, in the North, the Midlands, in Wales, in the eastern regions, there were old Labour voters who felt that the Labour Party was for them. It looks after their interests. Mr. Mayor, someone in this room, I hope, that will be taking that challenge. But one thing the Labour Party has already seen is they have failed to respond to the wishes of their electorate who wanted to leave the European Union. And they also criticised them, abused them, and called them names when they raised the issue of immigration and the impact on low wages. How many people in jobs where they are just eking a way out to survive and live, as I know so well from my own background, and that of my brother and his family, and those in this room I know who also had to struggle to make a life for themselves. The Labour Party's Parliamentary Labour Party have left those people behind. They've ignored them. They've abused them. And those people know that we've been listening for years. We didn't criticise the flags of the England flags or that they had white vans. We didn't go around saying they were bigots because they raised the issues. We listened hard and created policies for a fair, ethical immigration policy, one based on an Australian points-based system that looked to the whole world and said, we're welcoming everybody here as long as you have the right to come here because we need your skills, and not just have open door migration. We listened to them. And the Parliamentary Labour Party too has gone into its own little bubble. Not only have they left their voters behind, they've left their members behind. Because their members are voting for Corbyn and they want to get rid of him. What does that say about the Labour Party? They're more interested in their jobs than they are about the people that once voted for them. They're more interested about their careers than their own members. They are no longer fit to be the party that looks after the working man and woman in this country, or the aspirational, or those who want to see their children and grandchildren get on and looked after. But I tell you, there is a party out there, and that is the party I want to lead, and that is UKIP. Because we, as a party of 20 years, just think about that, it's not long, a party of a small, dedicated number of Democrats, built up over a period of time, have been doing what we had to do without the vast sums of money that the Labour Party had from its union support, without the vast sums of money that you had from the Conservative Party, backed by their corporates. We had to knock on doors. We had to listen to people. We had to hear their concerns. And as I mentioned, the two areas of leaving the European Union and immigration, we listened and we brought it to the fore that is now an accepted part of our political dynamic. But there is another issue, an issue that is important to me. Very important to me because I lived on a council estate round the corner, not far from here. I know there are others in this room who come from similar estates, who've worked hard, busted a gut, built lives, built jobs, built careers, and had to do so in the face of adversity and difficulties. And that is that the fact of the past 20 and 30 years, under the Conservative government and the Labour government, we have seen the chances of people from those backgrounds not being able to rise beyond where they now live. We have seen the decline of social mobility. And where other parties mention it, they talk about it, they say we believe in it. I tell you something, they haven't done much about it, because if it's in decline, it's not working, is it? And just as we champion those two issues, we will champion social mobility as part of UKIP's manifesto going forward. We've already started, I know. We've got great policies on the health service, great policies run by Star Average on disabilities and also on mental health illnesses. We have great policies on how to look after our armed services when they've left the army in order to keep protection and give them hope and aspirations afterwards. But we're going to challenge those on education. I put a policy together and I will work with the team to make sure that the grammar school system that was in our manifesto is extended. I want to see 50 grammar schools in the poorest areas of these countries funded so that we can give every child across the country a good start to get onto that ladder of social mobility. We will run that programme, monitor it, and when it works, which I believe it will, we will see a great upsurge of people who have been left behind by the other parties, because UKIP will not leave them behind. We will take them forward into the modern world because we know they have a life, they have hope, and we need to give them the inspiration to achieve as well. We're going to see challenges on housing. We're going to see the way UKIP is a people's party. It has been. You know, when I first went to the UKIP conference in Torquay, I met people from landscape gardeners to landed gentry. I met people from all over the country, many of them who felt as though they could be friends of mine or members of my family. And we all had something in common, something that's encapsulated in that word independence, in UK independence. We're a party that believes in freedom, whether it's individual freedom and the ability to live our own lives without interference from government. We believe in freedom and unleashing the powers of small and medium-sized governments, small and medium-sized businesses, away from the hands of an oppressive government. We believe in the opportunities for all to be able to succeed. We're patriotic. We love our nation. We believe in Britain. And we've had success. But we've also had failures in the past. It won't be good enough for us to be able to say we've got 4 million voters and only one member of parliament, because if so, how can we achieve the policies that we believe will bring social mobility to this country if we do so? And for that reason, we as a party must change. We must change to show that there is a bright personnel out there. Brilliant people like you see in Tim Aker, who's leading our charge in Thurrock, and I believe will be our next MP in that area. People like Nathan, and also in Peter, who leads the charge in London on the London Assembly. More black, mixed and ethnic candidates in our party's general election than the Liberal Democrats, the Scottish National Party, the Green Party, or even the Conservatives added together. A diaspora of individuals that will come to the fore. But we must also change the structure of our party. Not only be seen that we are an inclusive party, but we must have change in our own party structures. It must become more nimble. We've got to recognise we don't have the money of the other parties, and therefore we must cut our cloth to do so. And I believe that we need to introduce a more flat-lined structure for our party that concentrates on building new members from the young, from those who've not looked at us before, by using social media to achieve that. Because we've done so well already on Facebook and Twitter to build this party. I believe that we must cut our cloth so that we have funds to be able to fight more local elections, like those in this room from Bolton, who are building a bridgehead in Greater Manchester to take on the Labour Party, to work with those in Hartlepool and Thurrock and all across the country where we achieve councillors. We need to have more councillors and we need to be more focused, and therefore we need a more streamlined party. And we need to have those policies set out in a tone that enables the people of this country to understand we understand them and we're a party for them. I believe in this country. I believe in this party. It's an honour for me to be able to stand here amongst you and put my name in the ring and fight for a different Britain, a brighter Britain, a Britain that we can all believe in, that gives hopes and aspirations for all. We're not right, we're not left, we're just right in looking after the people of our country. That is why I want to lead UKIP, and I hope that you will take this challenge forward with me and make this party an even greater party than it already is. Thank you very much.